To Capitol Hill now, where House Republicans have approved a new rules package for Congress. And just like during the votes for Speaker, Kevin McCarthy had to make some last-minute deals to get far-right members of his party in line. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitali joins us now from Washington, D.C. to help explain it all. Good morning, Ali. You know, these rules are going to govern how the House operates going forward. Walk us through the deals going on behind the scenes and ultimately what ended up in this new rules package. Setting up a rules package at the start of a new Congress isn't normally this contentious, but then again, neither is electing a new speaker. So what makes this Congress so different?
Yeah, usually the speaker race doesn't go 4 or 5 days and delay them an entire week. But of course, we know that that's why they're starting a week late on this rules package, on actually putting together the chairmen and chairwomen of their committees. All of this is stuff that should be done at the very outset of Congress. And I guess technically that's what they're doing. But look, many of the things that are in this rules package are things that we know are already in there, in part because some of them were negotiated as Kevin McCarthy was trying to get the votes for speaker. Even if you pull up on the screen a whole list of bullet points, the one that we often talk about is the idea that it's easier to oust the speaker now. Only one member can call for that vote, and it would go to the floor with a simple majority. But there are a lot of other key things in here, especially when it comes to who is sitting on certain committees. The conservative House Freedom Caucus was able to get themselves some very prime slots on key committees like the Rules Committee, the Appropriations Committee, all places that have their hands on the levers of who gets funding and how money is spent. But then there are, of course, also some procedural items here, too. Things that might not seem very important actually could end up being important, especially if it's on a tight deadline, the way that Congress typically likes to operate. For example, there's one rule that was pushed for by people like Congressman Chip Roy that says 72 hours have to elapse between the time that a bill is presented and the time that it is voted on. 72 hours in Congress time, especially when they are on a deadline, can make things really tight and really messy. But of course, for a lot of these conservatives, the point was to really slow down the process. And in this rules package, you see, they did that.
And so, Ali, Speaker McCarthy made a lot of side deals to jockey his way into the chair, as you mentioned. While he hasn't released all those assignments, committee assignments seem to have played a large part in getting members of his party on board. What can we expect as those assignments are made public?
Yeah. We're going to see a lot more members of the Conservative Freedom Caucus on these key committees. As I was just saying, McCarthy was not dealing with handing out gavels. That was really important because that would really draw the ire of his rank and file members. But he was dealing with who gets to sit on some of these committees. And again, the important part for conservatives was that they would get to have a voice and a role on committees where money was being spent, where oversight was being done. When you especially look at who's going to be on this all-important Rules Committee, no bill can go to the House floor without first passing through the Rules Committee. When it comes to contentious bills, having Conservative Freedom Caucus members there who could theoretically band together with Democrats and stop bills from coming to the floor, make that process messier, all of that is going to be really important as we consider how this 118th Congress is just going to function.
All right, Ali, thank you so much for all that information.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.